everyone, and welcome to J&G's Kitchen. I'm J&G Townsend, and I'm so happy to have you all here with me today. So what are we going to talk to you today about? It's very simple. I'm going to discuss how to properly store food in the freezer. This is a time of the year that we're going to start cooking a little bit more because of the holidays are around the corner, or even if you just had a little harvest in your backyard with all your vegetables and you don't know what to do with it. So I have some very quick tips for you to help you out. So what I will start with is when you store something like, I love to make extra meatballs. I love it. I get a couple of pounds of meat, put it all together, and I make little meatballs for my grandmother, Nonna's soup, actually the Italian wedding soup, I'm so sorry, the Italian wedding soup. I also make meatballs just to kind of have fun with it, or to put it on a pasta. So my recommendation to you, anytime you actually want to put something in the freezer and you don't have a machine like mine, what you need to do is use, I always use and recommend everyone to use parchment paper. What the parchment paper does, it absorbs all the humidity. I have an archaic refrigerator from the 80s, unfortunately. So when the power goes up and down, and as you know, the new one don't have this problem, but the older refrigerator have the problem that it ramps up the cooling system, and then when it reaches a temperature, it kind of drops. On that drop moment, what is happening, condensation happening on your food, because your food is no longer kept at an X amount of freezing level, but it drops a little bit. And so what it does some condensation, it actually starts to defrost, and you have those little funny little drops on it. So when the cooling system comes back up, that part of those little condensation, what happens to it, become crystallized. So the crystallization becomes to this ugly little thing that you have on your food. Then when you take it out of the freezer, as freezer burns, and you either throw away the food or you cut it off. Well, to eliminate the whole process of tossing your food away, I highly recommend using the parchment paper. The parchment paper absorbs it, and when your refrigerator, your freezer actually goes up and down because of the AC/DC, your moisture will be on the paper, absorbed by the paper, and not on your food. So, which means you don't have to toss it. So I always put it on parchment paper first. That's a hard word today for me to say today. Parchment paper first, and then I wrap it on saran wrap very tightly. And third steps, I know there is a lot of steps, but food is expensive, and when you buy in bulk, you want to be sure that you put it all away and you have be able to save it. Then a little Ziploc bag, which has a little tag here. Don't forget to write the date and what it is, because the mystery of the freezer dinner night, they're hard sometimes to handle. I made some canederli one night, and I thought I was making some meatballs, and next thing you know, I'm pulling the packet out because I didn't read properly, because I didn't write it, and next thing you know, oops, we're not having meatballs with spaghetti tonight, but we're having soup. So you just always want to write it up, anything, they're just, the markers that goes there. So this is one way to store food in the freezer. So this is parchment saran wrap. Another wonderful thing is glass. I do not like to put things in plastic containers. It's just me, I don't particularly care. Glass is fabulous, and this company here, Bormioli, has the best. They are Frigovera, which is for the refrigerator. It goes from the refrigerator to the freezer. So if you have a soup, or if you have any like a chili verde, or anything was a little bit like tomato sauce, ragu is fantastic for this. And this is the perfect measurements for actually a family of 4. So if you make some ragu, you can put in one of those. And I have different sizes, so they're kind of nice to be able to store in the freezer. Now, I like to have the square or rectangle, because if you use a round, you have funny looking storage things in your refrigerator. All the shelves are kind of straight in a rectangular box, so those fits nicely on the corner. So I will highly recommend to get like a square or a rectangle for it. Then another thing that I really like to do, and I'm very fortunate, is a food saver. Is a machine where you can actually does this. You buy some extra meat, like I just did here. I had a lot of it because I was trying to make some, this is actually a beef tenderloin. Sometimes I get a big finger pork and we'll make chili verde with it. And I just wanted to separate all the bulk and have enough for my family. So I put into one of those little packets, and it comes with different packet, or the machine itself, it comes with air rolled, and you can just cut off and see what size you want to use, and has a sealant. And I just put it inside of this. What this machine does, it vacuums all the air out. So there is no air absolutely on your food. So when your refrigerator decides to go up and down, on the cooling system, nothing attaches your food. And as you can see, I even did some asparagus this summer. I just put them in there, took all the air out of it, and they're perfect. So I can just take those out, cut them up, put it inside the pasta, put it in soup, whatever I want to. It's fabulous, mainly if you have a vegetable garden and you don't know how to store all your veggies. This is a great machine to really invest, put it in, and enjoy it. So what I also do, if you have one of those, I recommend always double seal it. Just because once, you never know, maybe a little air still stuck in there, so double seal. It prevents all moistures not to stay in there, but to come out of it. So this is the way I use to store it. I hope this little tip was useful for you today. I will have the link for this machine if you're interested in buying it or giving it as a present to one of your family member or to your spouse. She'll love you. Just trust me, she will not be upset if she cooks. She'll like that. And also other things. Meanwhile, thank you so very much for stopping to J&J's Kitchen, and you guys have a great time. See you next time. Bye.